Well, hi! Have you ever felt running those digital ads is a waste of time and money? Well, I have, and I know many of our clients have felt the same. So don't get me wrong, today we need to use ads for lead generation, but I am not a fan of it, and the world of digital ads sounds too overwhelming for most business owners. So in this episode today, I am going to learn together with you how to make, our advertising money count, how to avoid common pitfalls and achieve those measurable results in our marketing efforts. Hi, it's Mari-Liis
and Laura.
We created this podcast for you, a business owner and a marketer who wants to be connected, supported, and inspired.
Because no one wins alone. Thanks for being here, and let's get started.
So I'm thrilled to present you a remarkable guest, Janet E. Johnson. Hi, Janet. How are you doing?
Hey, good to have. Thank you. I appreciate you being on.
So you have a very impressive background, and I know you have helped your clients, generate millions of dollars for with their online sales funnels, right? Can you please share with us about your own journey and how you became an expert in social media advertising?
Sure. The journey was started a long time ago where I was running a daycare in the basement and started selling stuff on eBay. So this was all the way back 20 some years ago. And over time, things changed on the internet. I actually started by setting up profiles on MySpace. So that goes way back. And then I would put people at the top of Google. I was a YouTube expert. I did blogging. You name it. I think I've done that online. And then back then I started with some affiliate marketing and moved to helping clients. And once I started helping clients, I ended up doing a lot with Google in the beginning. And then, here came Twitter, here came Facebook, here came all these other platforms, LinkedIn. And it got so big. It just got really, really big, fast, over the years. And with time, we have to shift and change, especially in the industry that I'm in. So over time, I decided to go the social media side. And I really ended up niching over to more like the Facebook and Instagram over the LinkedIn. Done a lot of social media management as well. We still do some accounts as well with that. But what I found was the return on investment was much more difficult to get with doing just posting compared to doing ads. Because with ads, you can learn from the data and the analytics, and it just, then you can shift and scale it up to really know and make that profit. So that's kind of why the ROI is just so shown. That's why I ended up moving over to more the paid advertising.
So I hear you were growing together with digital channels, as they appeared, new channels, you started to try them out, and now you have specialized on ads, right?
Yes, exactly. And TikTok ads as well. And then like right now, the AI is obviously a big thing as well. So we've integrated a lot of the AI into, what we're doing as well, because we just have to stay cutting edge and stay on top of things.
Of course. That is fascinating. And I want to touch today, an AI topic also. But we emphasize a lot about having clarity around your target audience. Please confirm that it is important to start with, clear target audience in mind when you start building any ad.
Yes. Yeah. We start with doing audience research when we work with clients. So we delve into deeper what audiences there are with, for instance, Facebook, for instance, TikTok. It depends on which platform we're using. And then we see what they offer as well. And then it takes testing. So as long as you know and you have an idea of that audience, you can expand on it, because you can come up with things deeper than who you think your audience actually is. And the other side of it is the AI and the algorithms got so smart lately that the possibility of using a broader audience and letting the ads do the work for you can happen as well. So yes, we do both. We do sometimes more of the broad audiences, and then sometimes we choose around the avatar, and then we do the audience research too.
So you already start collaborating with AI as you start thinking about the target audience.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. We talk to AI as well, but that has to be a little bit more where we delve into what is offered inside the platform, because a lot has been removed over the years. For instance, religious, there's not targeting for religion. There's not targeting for ailments like cancer anymore. So we have to get creative sometimes on the targeting because things have been removed over the years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but after the not being clear enough, what are the common mistakes that business owners usually do when they start, with their ads?
They don't run an actual conversion campaign. So for instance, they may hit the boost, and the boost is just like putting it out there to people, but the goal of that is just engagement really, or reach, and driving traffic to a website. That's fine. But when you tell Facebook or TikTok, we'll call it Meta because that's what it actually is, Meta or TikTok. If you tell them my goal is to drive as much traffic as possible to this landing page or, website, then that's what they're going to do. And they don't really care what the goal is. They're not looking at, okay, we actually want them to convert to put in their name, email, phone number, whatever, to book a call, lots of different things that you can do with conversion. So if you have the goal of a conversion or a purchase even, then they're more likely to find people that would actually convert or buy. So I think people don't know what they're doing. So if they don't have a pixel on there, there's a lot of different things like that people miss in their business. And then they go, I've tried ads, they don't work.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. They try to boost their posts, and after that they're frustrated, and it feels like waste of time and money. So, but what about testing? You mentioned that for a second. How should we test? I have heard that setting up a Google Ads, for example, or other ad groups, it means like you should test like hundreds of different messaging. What are your thoughts here?
Well, we test graphics, video. It depends on what platform, but for Meta, it's graphics, GIFs, videos, all the different creatives. We also test the text, the copy that's written. We test different headlines. We test different audiences. So we do layer by layer, and it depends on the client. Sometimes, which layer we start with, but we typically start with creative because that's kind of the grabbing of attention. So that creative, whether it's a video or graphic, then we learn which one's performing the best. And we also go down further along the funnel. We don't just stop at, okay, let's say we're getting $5 leads for an opt-in that's entering their name, email, phone number, but the goal is a booked call. We need to pay attention all the way down the funnel. So if we're getting booked calls out of this one, but it's a more expensive lead, if that's your goal, wouldn't you rather pay for a more expensive lead? So you got to look at all the variables, but yeah, we test everything when we work with clients, and I obviously train people on how to do this as well, and we show our step-by-step process.
Okay, so how long usually the testing takes, and also trying to figure out the right audience groups you should work with? How long does it take before I can actually start using the ads?
Well, the ads will work from the get-go. They're gonna work, but they could be really expensive. They could work like boom, all of a sudden you're getting super inexpensive leads, and I've seen all the cases. But you do need, it depends on budget. That's a big thing, because the more budget you have, obviously the faster you get the data. So that's a big thing. But it does take time no matter what, at least 3 to 5 days on up to a week for a specific test. And a lot of business owners, including myself, I mean, it's a hard thing to do, don't have a lot of patience to go an entire week with one little test. You know what I mean? And if it's,
I know.
But yeah, it's very, very difficult for a lot of us. And it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of times I know in 3-4 days usually if, this is going to convert it or work or if it's not. But you can give up in one day and all of a sudden, if you don't give up and all of a sudden it can completely change and turn around. So you do need to give it time with the testing.
Well, I was afraid you were saying like few weeks. So I think a week or 3 to 5 days is almost normal.
Well, that's per variable. So you got to remember
of course.
That's per, of creative specifically. You want to do one thing at a time. There is a thing called dynamic ads though, and we use those a lot now because the algorithm and Meta has got so smart where you can test all the copy, all the creatives, different headlines, and you could do it all at once. And so we do that a lot in the beginning just so that you're letting them figure it out for you. So that's a new way of doing things that just it's a little bit faster.
But what's the difference otherwise between dynamic ads and, like a normal ad?
A normal one you would take and separate every single variable. So we put in 3 different texts, like the copy, if people know what copy means, but the text, the wording on it, 3 different headlines, 3, 4, 5 different videos, creatives, like it could be videos, graphics, GIFs. We put all of that in at once and we just let the algorithm figure it out. That's a dynamic. Otherwise, the regular ads we would do, okay, we're going to test 5 different videos or graphics and we're going to keep everything else the same. 1 copy, 1 headline, 1 audience.
Okay, so pretty much
it's a slower way of doing it, but then you get it's both work. Once I do the dynamic, then we kind of move it over to the 1 variable at a time once we kind of narrow it down to some of those top performing.
So it means that you are using the help of, again, AI that these platforms are providing.
Yep. I've done the ads since well before 2017. Back then, there was nothing like this. We would do 1 variable at a time. Always.
So now it's much more easier for you.
It's faster too so it helps the ad spend go further with the clients as well.
I know you can't say the exact budget because there are too many things that that affect that, starting with the company size and everything, right? But still, what is the minimum budget someone should invest and, before they will start feeling again like it is a waste of time and money? How much should they consider, time for the ads? Because I know that it takes time, to see results. Is it from 1 month to 3 months? Is it depending on the budget? How much is it depending on the budget? Give us some ideas here.
Okay, so when I work with clients, I do a 90-day minimum. And because it really, we do obviously a setup, and then we also just need that time to really fix the funnel. Typically, in a sales funnel is, just if people don't know, you typically take an ad to a landing page to have them sign up for something. Then we have an email sequence, maybe a booked call. There's a lot of layers there. So there's so many layers that we need time to figure out which layers are working and which ones are not working and fix them. And you really can figure that out with learning from the data. So we do need about 90 days. As for budget, it does depend on the size of the company. For TikTok ads, for instance, and even with Facebook, I recommend no less than $20 a day. But it really should be more like the recommended to start. I typically say we want to start between $30 and $50 a day. And so that's around $1,000 a month, if you start at $30 a day. So that's feasible for a lot of companies to be able to handle that. Now, if they can, it also depends on the return on investment and the ticket price for their offer. So if they put in $50 a day, for instance, so I had one client, let's just give this example. One client had $50 a day in ad spend when we started, and their return, they have an opt-in where people would opt in to buy a book. This was called a free book plus shipping funnel. And then on the back end, they had salespeople that would call, and they had a $10,000 to $30,000 offer. Now that's a big return on investment. So they started at $50 a day. Within a year and a half, we had a budget of $50,000 a month. So we were able to scale this up, and then they they actually profited with the ads over $3 million in a year and a half. So it shows just an example of, you can start with $50 a day, you can start with $30 a day. Once you figure it out, and it depends on, your offer, and if you're making money on the back end, then you can scale it up.
No, that's very inspiring. And 3 months it sounds very reasonable time also. Even short time, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. That's the least I like to do, but that we usually can figure out, if it's working or not at that 90 days.
So I'm also curious, this social media landscape, it's constantly evolving, right? So how do you stay up to date with the latest trends and technologies, to provide the best results for your clients? I'm in a mastermind group that I've been in for quite a few years now, where we can get on calls with them, and they keep us up to date, specifically with the ad side of things. And then I just have certain people that I follow, and just always am constantly reading things and staying up to date, reading blog posts, books, that kind of thing. And I've just certain people that I specifically follow. But I'm typically always in different types of masterminds to improve my skills, and hire coaches and that kind of thing too. So what is the advice you would give to these businesses who are looking to just get started with social media ads, but they are not, they are unsure where to begin even today?
Yeah. I guess what I would recommend is find somebody to help you in the beginning. I mean, it could be me, it could be somebody else, but the bottom line is, to start it out correctly is going to give you a better feeling. First off, to set up, it's complicated. Business manager is not a fun thing. People's business accounts get shut down. There's just a lot of variables to it, so it is not easy. They've actually made it, to me, very difficult for the average consumer. So either get a training, go through a training of some sort. We have multiple trainings on this. We do coaching, and I also do management. So some of my clients will work with me to get it set up properly for the first 90 days, but then they learn, I teach them, and then they can take it over themselves. I've had that, with quite a few clients as well. Or, if it's working, they just want to continue working with me, that's another option too. But the bottom line is, don't just hit the boost button and throw your ads out there, and don't try to go into Business Manager and try to figure it out yourself, because you will get very, very frustrated.
I agree, and that's why I want to circle back to my previous question, meaning that, this social media is constantly evolving, meaning that even if I get a training from you today, tomorrow I might be already behind things, right? Yes. So that's why I think it is very efficient, to have someone like yourself to help you with these things. So where can people find you online?
Easiest thing is janetjohnson.com, and that pretty much takes you to anything that I have. And then my Instagram is my biggest place and my handle's just at Janet E. Johnson. So that's kind of where I even throw up extra videos all the time and just do tons and tons of short video trainings. That's the place, a great place to follow me as well. And reach out, say hi, say you saw me on the podcast. I'd love it if I find out that you saw us here.
And we will put those social handles next to this episode, of course, too. So before I will ask about the song and a quote, is there anything else you want to share to wrap up, the discussion here for those frustrated business owners who doesn't believe in ads?
What I will say is, if you really want a business that is going to be consistent and scale, even, to the level that you want, you really, really, really should embrace advertising. The ads, because you can learn from the data, you can learn along the way. It's the only thing that really provides consistency compared to the organic side of the social media.
Mm-hmm. I do want to emphasize, learn from the data. I think that's the most important part here. This way you won't be frustrated about ads, right?
Exactly.
So awesome. But before we finish here today, please inspire us with a song and a quote that empowers you.
Well, my favorite saying, take it from Nike, just do it. That's been my favorite saying for many years now. And I even have, a sweatshirt. I should have worn it, I guess, today. It says, just do it. So that's a big one. Take action. No matter what, it's never going to be perfect. My second quote would be, take imperfect action, because nothing's ever going to be perfect. But just do it, take action, and, otherwise you'll never move forward.
And I love the take imperfect action, because you don't need to be perfect.
Not at all.
That's very good reminder. Very powerful. And what about the song?
I finally figured it out because I had it in my head. It is Dynamite by Tal Cruz, Taio. Do you know Tal Cruz? I don't know.
I've heard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's just about living your life, throw your hands in the air, enjoy life, and, let go. So
I love it. We will add it to our Spotify list for sure, Janet.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, it is. So thank you so much, Janet, for coming and inspiring us with ads more. And I do believe that companies should try ads, but I also want to emphasize that you should be very mindful about with who you are working, and of course you should work with learn from the data, as you said, right, Janet?
You got it. Thank you so much for having me on as well.
Thank you. No one wins alone. Be connected, supported, and inspired inside the powerful marketers community.
Find the link in the show notes.